Roadshow News Recap starts right now. Two very important milestones happened this week. Rivian R1T production started, and Ford built the first few prototype models of the upcoming F-150 Lightning all-electric truck, so that is pretty exciting stuff. But there's more EV news to talk about as well, because the EPA just rated the Lucid Air, and you may not believe the range this all-electric sedan will offer. In other news, the redesigned Toyota Tundra pickup truck is scheduled to debut this weekend. We'll have all the details on that for you. And then Nissan showed off a new GT-R model with a retro twist. So all of that and more is coming up on this week's episode of Roadshow News Recap. But happy Friday, everyone. And Sean, it is great to have you back. I see your hair color has changed this week.
Yeah, I am back, and I'm back with some yellow hair. You know, you never know what color it'll be. But yeah, it's good to be back. Thank you, Craig. Hello to everybody watching, and hello if you're watching over the weekend. Hopefully you're about to enjoy the show, or if you're watching live with us, enjoy the show that is to come.
Absolutely, yes. And make sure while you're at it to, if you're feeling generous, I don't want to push you, but if you're feeling generous, like this video, subscribe to the Roadshow News channel because it's pretty awesome. We got a lot of great stuff there. Sean, you're hosting a whole series of individual quick news hits that have been doing pretty well lately. So it's the place to be, really, for the latest automotive news that's coming out. But let's now talk Rivian. Big story for the electric vehicle maker here. This is a big milestone, Sean.
Yeah, huge week for Rivian because they've been building pre-production pickup trucks, but they built the first production truck. This is a truck that will eventually make its way to a customer. So this is the first customer truck Rivian built. I mean, that is a milestone for a startup that, I mean, didn't exist. I don't remember when we first saw Rivian. 5 years ago, Rivian wasn't around, or however the time frame is. I mean, pretty incredible when you see the progress this company has made. And of course, they've made a lot of progress because of some pretty big name backers, including Amazon. And it's good to have an investor like Amazon at your side, for some money. But no, nevertheless, they've come such a
Jeff
far...
Bezos has a few bucks stashed away.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that Jeff Bezos guy, I hear he may have a couple bucks to spare. Yeah, the production, it's just hard to overstate. If you're looking forward to electric pickup trucks, it was a big day for Rivian. And technically, they can lay claim to the fact that they are first to production with an electric truck because the rivals haven't gotten here yet, Craig.
That's true. We'll be talking about Arrival in just a couple seconds here, but also, like, Bollinger isn't out yet, and of course the elephant in the room, so to speak, the Cybertruck. That's nowhere to be found just yet. So a big milestone here for Rivian getting a basically production version of the R1T off the line. And I love the name of the town they build it in. Good old Normal, Illinois, where there used to be, I believe, a Mitsubishi factory. So yes. I make the joke, it's in the town of Usual, in the village of Typical, in Ordinary Township, which is adjacent to Regular County. That's Normal, Illinois.
Yeah. Welcome to Bland Geography 101.
Yes. It's the Midwest. It's flat. Folks are friendly, and we like ranch dressing. So come on down and consider vacationing here. I hear Akron is beautiful this time of year. Is that true, Sean?
Oh, gorgeous when the Firestone plant or the Goodyear plant is up and running and the smell of burning rubber fills the air. I mean, the ad writes itself, really.
Come on down to Akron. It's America's hometown. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh boy, but no, back to Rivian. I'm curious because while these first trucks, these are like the first edition trucks that will be going out to customers first, as like the name implies. I'm wondering if Rivian is going to get a good head start, or if they're going to ramp up production more slowly, Because I know in our next subject is the F-150 Lightning coming up, but I'm just bringing it into the conversation a little bit early. Ford just announced this week that they're adding more jobs. They want to build 80,000 F-150 Lightnings in the first year, I believe. So, I mean, I'm wondering if Rivian may get that head start that could be crucial in this segment, especially for a, kind of a no-name company that they're going to have to introduce themselves as somebody new. I think it's going to be very, very interesting, but I also think they have a very compelling truck to sell as well.
Oh, they do. It looks amazing. The interior is very nice. They're claiming 314 miles of range, which ain't too shabby for a pickup. It has that clever sort of like pass through that goes, across the truck, like kind of underneath the back seats sort of. So that's pretty clever. And it looks cool, although in the chat, FC Reviews on YouTube says, besides it looking like a Super Mario mushroom cartoon face, it's all good. And I had never noticed that before, but now that he says they say that, I'm like, yeah, now I can't unsee that. So yeah,
I never noticed that.
Yeah,
that's good.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for the laughs on Friday.
Yeah. It's Friday, so we're a bit punchy here. But to your point, John, it'll be very interesting to see how they ramp up production, because building one truck that'll eventually go to one customer is one thing. Mass production is quite another when you're building hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of these things. So we'll see if they're able to ramp up quickly. I would suspect they'll be pretty slow, pretty conservative, but who knows?
I think so. I think the big thing that Rivian has going for it is the fact that assembly line you see the R1T on will also be the assembly line for the R1S SUV. So hopefully there's some commonality that helps with scalable production in that regard. And then there's a separate production line that's going to be taking care of those electric Amazon delivery vans that Rivian has started prototype builds of, and some of them are testing in various parts of the U.S. But certainly a very, very promising company. Even Ford is invested in Rivian, and once upon a time there was going to be a Lincoln based on a Rivian, and as far as we know, that project is still scrapped.
Yeah. Well, maybe once Rivian gets successful, Ford will just buy them out and shut them down, because they can't have the crown jewel F-150 threatened by some all-electric upstart. So
that could be Ford, interesting down the line.
Yeah, we mentioned this a few moments ago. Big news on Thursday. First prototype models of the F-150 Lightning all-electric truck started rolling off the line at Ford's Rouge Electric Vehicle Center. That's sort of a rebranding, I guess, of the old Rouge plant that Henry Ford actually had built, I think, back in the late 1920s, early 1930s it opened. But yeah, so prototype models of the F-150 are now rolling down the line. So they're going to be working on ironing out any, production issues, building the truck itself. Because I don't know if y'all know, making cars is hard work. Like, they have tens of thousands of parts you have to bring together that have to be good quality components. You have to assemble them the correct way in the proper order. You have to meet safety and fuel efficiency regulations. It's complicated. There's a lot going on. So you can't just jump in and start building stuff. It doesn't work that way. So Ford is slowly ramping things up, obviously, hopefully ironing out any problems in the production processes and in the vehicle itself, because this is quite different from your standard F-150.
Yeah, I think it's so easy, if you've never been inside of a functioning auto plant, to take for granted the car you buy at a dealership, or the car that you bought pre-owned that obviously at one point left a production facility. So yeah, like, the pre-production process is its own beast, to try and find areas where things may be failing, so you don't get to, series production, and these trucks are supposed to be going to customers, and all of a sudden this widget isn't fitting correctly and you have to shut it down, and then it's like a house of cards that comes falling down. So it's just very, like you said, a super intricate process, and a fascinating process for anybody who's never been inside of an auto production plant, to just see things in action at an assembly plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's something if anyone gets the chance to do, and you're remotely interested in cars, and hopefully you are if you're watching us in the show, but you should definitely go and try and do like a plant tour, because it really is an eye-opening experience to see cars being built.
Yeah, you have to bring thousands and thousands of components together and sub-assemblies together. They have to arrive at the right station at the right time. They can't be defective. They have to function and be of high quality, and they have to last for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. So bringing all that together is amazing. That's why we love the car business, right? And then you have the whole other side of the design and the engineering, right? Nobody wants to drive like a refrigerator box around. So the trucks have to look cool, but then you have to work with engineering to make sure everything functions and is safe and delivers the features that people expect. So it's just so much complexity to the car business. Part of what makes it so interesting. But so the Lightning, just to recap, you're going to have two different flavors. You can have the standard range with 230 miles of juice and 426 horsepower, or there's the extended range model that's going to have an estimated 300 miles of range, a little bit more power, 563 horses. Both versions will have the same torque, though, at 775 pound-feet, which I'm pretty sure will be plenty for most people.
Only that little? Jeez, oh man, Ford, what are you doing? God.
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
God, what a disappointment, this truck. God, just write it off. I'm ready to move on, Craig.
I know. If you're one of the 150,000 people Ford claims have reserved one, you may as well just return your money and just take your money back, because this is just terrible.
It's over.
You've wasted your money.
Seriously?
Game over.
Yeah. Only almost 800 pound-feet of torque. I mean, it's ridiculous. Just throw it away and start over. God.
Yeah.
So aggravating. No, seriously. We're actually really excited about the F-150 Lightning, because I've said it before on past shows, but if there's any vehicle that can get Americans into electric vehicles, which is increasingly looking like EVs will be the standard bearer, like type of transportation to come in the next 2 decades or so, it's going to be the F-150, because the F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the U.S. and has been for decades. So yeah, if you can't turn those customers into EV customers, because this literally is an F-150 with electric motors and a battery, I don't know what kind of car can.
Yeah. And the super aggressive pricing that they're doing with this vehicle, I forget what it starts at. It's about 39 and change before destination fees. So you're spending 41 grand on this truck, which is crazy inexpensive. Like, for everything it's going to offer. It's probably going to be a game-changing vehicle. Which FC Reviews in the YouTube chat says, I personally think the F-150 Lightning will have a further reach than the Rivian and Cybertruck if it's ever produced. I would completely agree with that, because like you just said, Sean, it's an F-150. And if you can't electrify an F-150 and succeed, then what vehicle can? People just don't care at that point.
Yeah, we have an electric vehicle pickup truck roundup that we update every so often on the roadshow.com. And when we were first building that, it was just like, look at all these trucks that we didn't know a lot about. Now like a year and a half, 2 years later, we're learning more. Some of them have been fully revealed, and some of them are now in production or pre-production. And it's interesting to see these companies starting to like find their lane, where, yes, you can say the F-150 Lightning is a Rivian R1T competitor, but I don't know if I was in the market for an electric pickup truck, if I would cross shop them, if that would be my go-to. Only besides the fact that there are so few choices. Like, obviously, I would look at a Rivian and an F-150 Lightning, because they'll probably be the first two readily available. But like Rivian seems to be taking this more like adventurous, like kitted out with a kitchen and, take it places and where I feel like Ford is really playing its hand on being like, this is the F-150 you've always known and loved, except it's zero emissions. So buy it. And that could be super smart. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do, but we're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be very interesting in the years to come. And I think.
And to your point, Ford has that recognition with like fleet customers too. So the most affordable version of the Lightning is like the commercial grade model. So people that operate vehicle fleets, say landscaping folks or like a college for college campus maintenance or something, those people are already familiar with Ford. So they're probably going to just segue right over to an F-150 Lightning, and it's going to do everything they need with zero emissions and way cheaper to keep the battery topped up with juice than, buying gasoline. So it'll be very interesting to see. Ford plans to build 80,000 of these electric trucks per year. I'm not sure if that's a goal they'll reach in the first year. We have to see, but they are making some investments in some of their supplier other facilities beyond just the Rouge EV Center. So they should be able to make that happen. But Sean, moving along, Lucid had some important news that for their model that has more power and torque than the F-150.
Yeah. Yep. We, as you may have seen on the Roadshow news. Yeah. Oh, geez. Let's move on already. My God.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
As you may have seen, we did talk about this piece of news, the Lucid Air's EPA estimate. We have a separate video on that on the Roadshow News YouTube channel. But obviously, Craig and I wanted to discuss this and dive a little bit further in and see what each of us think, because the final figure is 520 miles, which is well over 100 miles greater than a Model S long range, which the EPA rates at 405 miles. This is a huge, I'm sticking a flag down in the sand moment from Lucid, I feel like, because this car has been a long time coming. I know people may just be learning about Lucid recently. Lucid almost didn't exist a couple of years ago. In fact, I'm almost positive someone inside Lucid, an executive of some sort, confirmed at one point they were talking with Ford, asking Ford to buy them because things were not going well and they didn't have money. And then eventually they got investment from, I believe, some Saudi Arabian conglomerate. I don't know. I don't have the details off the top of my head on that. But yeah, no, this car almost didn't exist. So to bring your vision to life with this 520 mile range is extraordinary. And I pointed out in the past video, the 520 mile range is only for this Dream Edition range model, but the Lucid Air Grand Touring, which anyone can buy and is not sold out like the Dream Edition cars, goes 516 miles. So it's not like Lucid put all its eggs in a basket and was like, here's a big buzzy marketing car to be like 520 miles. And then like the one you can actually buy gets 300. No, you're only losing 4 miles.
Yeah. And if you go with the performance version instead of the range variant, you still have impressive range with 19-inch wheels, 471 miles. If you get the big 21s, you still get 451 miles of range, which is pretty impressive. It's amazing how big of a difference wheel size makes, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as you ditch those 19-inch wheels and go to the 21s, none of these cars get 500 miles of range, on no matter which one you're looking at. On the first three, the EPA rated. There are going to be less expensive versions of the Air, but I definitely wouldn't expect to see those for a while because you probably got your hands full with these first three versions. You know, as we were just saying about Rivian, building cars is really hard, and you don't want to try and do too many things at once.
Yes. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second. I think wheels are out of control these days. They're too freaking big. I don't need 22s on every vehicle. I know the designers love them. I know they look cool, but come on. Ride and handling suffers. Efficiency, especially with electric vehicles, suffers. It's not worth it. I would much rather have a wheel. It can be stylish, but with some tire sidewall, so the car still rides well and the rim doesn't get bent every time you hit like a piece of gravel on the road. Heaven forbid you hit a pothole. We don't have those in the Midwest. Yeah. Not at all. No, you end up with a bent wheel and then you got to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to replace it. It's just crazy. Give me some tire, folks. And I'm getting off the soapbox now. Rant over.
And he's down. That was a good story, Grandpa. No, I'm just kidding. No, I do agree with you, though, that wheel sizes are just growing exponentially. And a truck we're not talking about today, but it came to mind as soon as you opened up this conversation, was the Silverado EV that we haven't seen yet. GM said it's going to have 24-inch wheels. 24-inch wheels. I don't know why you need 24-inch wheels on a pickup truck. From just like, if you want to go to the aftermarket and find that, like, you can do it. But why from the factory for a truck that, like, it's supposed to be a productive vehicle to haul things and tow, and especially with range, like, I don't know, 24-inch wheels, that seems like overkill. I'm sure they'll look great. They fill out the wheel wells, but I don't know. I do agree with you. I like a nice chunky sidewall to absorb some of the Midwestern impacts we have
Says
to
the
deal
man
with.
that just bought a Lexus.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate.
And you know what? It's a great car that I just put new tires on as well. It's super comfortable.
Did you figure out what was making that noise? Was it the tires, or do you still have a wheel bearing to chase down?
Front brake, actually. Front brake hose locking the wheel at speeds.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a relatively easy fix.
Yeah.
Super.
So it's all good. She's purring like a kitten, as the kids say these days, or not, because I'm so out of touch it hurts.
Well, I was born out of touch, so don't feel bad.
Okay.
But the Lucid Air Dream Edition, 520 miles of range on a single charge. That is pretty impressive. Before we segue to the next story, I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe to this video. We appreciate it very much. Give the Roadshow News YouTube channel a little bit of love. We do our best to, provide, if not good content, then adequate content. We really strive to be A-OK. So if you could, thank us a little bit, we would appreciate it very much.
A-OK is in our DNA.
There you go. That's our slogan. Evan, can you put that on the banner, please? Like, good enough is good enough. That's what we shoot for here. Before we segue to our Toyota Tundra story, just glancing at the YouTube chat, FC Reviews again wants to know what Lexus you picked up, Sean.
It's a 2001 Lexus ES300, so just the pinnacle of Japanese luxury. No, I really like it. It's very comfortable. It's just a winter car, to putz around in, and it has crazy low miles. It was only driven 8,000 miles a year, one owner. And yeah, it's in very, very good shape for a car that's lived in Ohio its entire life.
No rust then.
Yes.
Maybe a snowbird owned it and just drove it all the way to Florida each winter.
I don't know, but they took really good care of it, and I'm appreciative for that.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So moving right along, mark your calendars, folks. Important event coming up this weekend. The redesigned 2022 Toyota Tundra pickup. It's finally getting redesigned after like a decade and a half. It's been a while. Toyota's probably a little sore about that, so don't bring it up too much. But mark your calendar. Sunday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific, the new truck will debut. And I'm making air quotes now. It will debut because we've kind of already seen it, because it kind of sort of debuted accidentally when it leaked back in June. The TRD model debuted.
Am I doing it right, Craig?
But official debut is this Sunday at 6 p.m. So if you want to see the whole rig, you're going to want to see it. So make sure you check that out, or, of course, visit our website on Sunday for the full story, theroadshow.com. But
yes, and if you're I was just going to say, if you are craving what we know so far, we also have a video on this new Tundra about what we know so far on the Roadshow News YouTube channel. But yeah, check back on Sunday at theroadshow.com, and you will have all of the details.
What do we know so far, Sean?
Well, we know it's going to be a pickup truck. It definitely has a steering wheel. It will come with 4 tires. And it has a giant grill. And I mean, that is hardcore journalism at its core, what I just spouted out of my mouth. No, I'm just kidding. What we do know so far is the V8 is probably going away. Twin turbo V6 is probably going to be under the hood. We could be looking at some sort of electrified powertrain, a hybrid. That would be a big deal for the Tundra as well. There should be some sort of big touchscreen on at least one trim from another teaser we saw. The leaf springs are gone. There's coil springs in the back. And the power rear window sticks around because Toyota didn't want to make the Tundra fans angry, I assume.
Yeah. That's a cool feature. But yeah, nothing shocking, but long overdue update for what is quite a popular truck. Obviously, it doesn't sell in Ram or Silverado numbers, but people that have Tundras seem to be pretty loyal to them. And as far as I know, Toyota sells everyone that it can build. So it's good news that it's getting redesigned after forever. So
yeah, really, all Toyota has to do is build a competitive full-size truck that's just an alternative to the F-150 Silverado and Ram 1500. Like, I think they're well aware that they're never going to sell the Tundra in F-150 numbers, but all they have to do is give people an alternative. And once they get them in, I actually know a couple people who drive Tundras, and like they never want to give them up. Like they don't want to ever go back to a Silverado, F-150, whatever. So they're doing something right, but they definitely are a loyal crowd once they get people into a Tundra or a Tacoma. We've talked about Tacoma a bajillion times about how popular that truck is. And we know how Craig feels about that truck too.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Yes, so check back on Sunday for the Tundra, but moving backwards in time to something that happened this past week, which we thought was pretty cool, is a new Nissan GT-R special edition called the T-Spec.
They're still making the GT-R?
Yeah, they are hand built.
Isn't it like 50 years?
It definitely is starting to look old. But I will say this car is aged better than I thought it would. When it first came out, I thought the car was a little over the top looking, but it's actually rather restrained when you look at like new supercars that have come out. If you consider the GT-R a supercar, I don't know. Maybe it's just a sports car. But the cool thing with this special edition are the two throwback colors that you can get on this car. One of them is Millennium Jade. The other is Midnight Purple. And both of those are throwbacks to the R34 Skyline GT-R. Anyone who's a Nissan GT-R fan will recognize those colors, especially Millennium Jade, because that was an ultra rare color that only made its way to, we have the figure here, 132 R34 GT-Rs were painted in, 159 were built with Millennium Jade, and 132 R34 GT-Rs wear Midnight Purple. So very exclusive colors that Nissan decided to bring back.
You okay there, Sean?
I'm fine.
You feeling okay, bud?
It's been, you know what? I just came back from vacation and it's been a long week already. Okay.
You've had the Sunday scaries all week. So
yeah,
just some slack. I'm sorry.
Is
there a worse feeling than going back to work after vacation? Like,
oh no. I even built in a day, like I still had this past Monday off to like ease myself back into a work week, and it didn't matter. I'm like, Tuesday's just the new Monday. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Toyota GT-R, like I said. I have a picture of it, of the Toyota GT-R over me. You can see. I'm a huge fan. Yes.
Super nice.
Yeah.
That's built on the Panther platform, right?
Yes. Yeah. They used to run them all in New York City. They were painted green.
I knew it.
Yeah. You got it. That's why we're the experts, and they gave us a show.
It's their loss, their mistake.
Exactly. But aside from the cool paint colors, this isn't actually a more hardcore version. Like, it's not, above the Nismo, the GT-R Nismo. It's above the GT-R Premium model. You get some carbon ceramic brakes, air guides, carbon fiber fiber rear spoiler, and power stays the same. It's still a 3.8 liter twin turbo V6, 565 horsepower, 467 pound-feet of torque. So largely the same animal. It's more about appearance with those gold colored wheels as well, which I think looks super cool. We don't know how many Nissan is going to make. All they said was production will be, quote, very limited. So who knows? Could it be like 100 cars? I have no idea, but they're going to cost $139,000 a pop.
Whew. Although that's still less than a Lucid Air Dream Edition by quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. That is true.
I bet you they cap production at the same number of each color they offered in the past. That would be my guess.
Probably.
But I've been wrong once before, so we'll see.
Only once has Craig Cole ever been wrong. Only once. But yeah, I thought some rumors about this car may have been it was like a send-off edition, as the GT-R is very, very old, this R35 generation, and we haven't really heard a peep about an R36. I think it's a gift that we got a new Nissan Z. I think it will be a miracle if we get a next generation GT-R.
Yes, I would agree. 100%. The cost to build a new one and develop it and everything is just too much for the number they would sell, especially as things are going all electric these days. Maybe
unless it goes all electric
as an EV. They could do that. But
I don't know. There's always that argument. There's always that argument. Would you rather, a vehicle adapt with the times to stick around, or would you rather see it just, die off as it is? That argument was around like 15 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago ish. Now, when electrification was starting to come into the conversation more for like Camaro and Mustang and stuff like that, and so many people were like, "No, just kill it. I don't want to see a Mustang electric." But increasingly, it seems like companies want to keep those names around because people know them.
Equity,
Yeah, exactly. There is a reason, and Craig did a video on this once upon a time, if I'm not mistaken, about why Ford is smart as hell to call the Mustang Mach-E the Mustang Mach-E.
It was a long time ago, but yeah,
it was.
I think they're doing quite well. The Mustang Mach-E is kind of hard to come by these days. So yeah, I think Ford's got a winner on its hands, which is very good, which I predicted. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh boy. What else do you want to tell us, Craig? What else do you want to, gloat about in front of everybody?
Gloat about, yeah, right. I would like to ask you about other stories that went on the website this week, Sean. You had a couple real humdingers, I think. Yeah,
a couple good humdingers, but one of them's yours. Craig drove a Volkswagen ID4 Pro S. He drove that vehicle. And he said, if I think I'm summarizing it well, it's a good EV let down by the details is the summation I walked away with. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Craig. Give us 5 words on the ID4.
Oh, 5 words. It's good, but not great. How about that? That's 5.
there you go.
For a second.
You get a star.
Yeah, it's let down by a couple. It's like a couple things let it down. Like it's a good competitor to like the Bolt EUV and like the Kona Electric from Hyundai, but it doesn't have Mach-E or like Model Y levels of range. And some of the infotainment system was super laggy, and some of the touch sensitive controls for some of the secondary features I did not like. They're not responsive. For instance, they do not have 4 window switches on the driver's door panel. They only have 2 window switches, which operate the front windows. And then you have a touch sensitive button you hit to allow the rear windows to open. So it basically uses the same switches. It's just like, guys, you're inventing a problem that was solved decades ago. Like, just put 4 switches in, it's done. It's not that much more. But they're trying to like be cute about it. So it's a bit annoying.
There you go.
But anyway,
there's an appetizer. there's an appetizer for the ID4 review you can read on the roadshow.com. In addition, I wrote a update for our long-term Kia Carnival. It's been with me for a few months now, and you can read that there. And other newsworthy things, Hyundai deployed Boston Dynamics Spot robotic dog in one of their plants in South Korea. That's interesting. And they showed us a video of it being like a security dog, but it's a robot. It's really wild. And the Mazda CX-5 is going all-wheel drive. No more front-wheel drive. That's gone. So that was just a teaser of all sorts of things you can see at the roadshow.com. So
and
with that,
Kia Carnival write-up, I hear, is smashing.
Yeah, and you'll understand the joke. Yeah, you'll understand the joke if you go and read it. Got to read it.
Where do people need to read it?
Got to read it.
Yeah, I believe here, but it is smashing.
I believe the website we work for is the roadshow.com. That's where we pen things and write things. And for some reason, the people that hired us still let us do it.
Yeah, it's a big head scratcher, but check it out, theroadshow.com. But that's it for this week's show. We covered everything we needed to. Good lineup of stories this week. Sean, thank you so much as always. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Thank you to the couple people who were chatting along with us during the show. And obviously we invite more people to continue talking with us because we'll let the show go where you guys kind of want to guide it. We got a rundown, but we will talk about anything. Anything. Yeah. No, not really. Not anything.
Well, not anything.
That could get bad.
Yes. That gets, subreddits and whatever. I don't know. We don't need to go there. But anyway, yes, thank you, Sean. And thank you, Evan Miller, our producer, the man on the back end that's making the tubes of the internet work properly so we can broadcast to you live and so you can see the finished product once the live show is done. So thank you, Evan. And of course, thank you all so much for watching. And of course, as Sean mentioned, for interacting in the chat. We love hearing from you. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, everybody. Come on down, watch Roadshow News Recap and interact with us. But check it out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the Roadshow News YouTube channel. And we also broadcast on Facebook if you like the Zuckerberg type of product. So thank you all again for watching. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.